Welcome to the Level 1 Lounge, where we give our uneducated take on anything and everything gaming. We are doing, I am taking over today. No, this is out of the realm, I guess, normally, because we either have our typical host, Ryder Pride. Hey, got it right this time. And Irish Bandit, Rob. It was nice seeing you, gentlemen.
Nice seeing you.
It's been a quiet couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's nice to be back in the land of the living. I was out there sick for a little while, so I'm excited to be back.
And I've been traveling for work, so now I'm finally kind of back in my own domain again.
I've been sick, but not on Wednesdays.
Yeah. So, as you can tell, it's Maverick's takeover today, so I'm really excited for this. So, we're going to start off with our typical burning question. I'm going to ask the gentleman here the question. I'm going to give a slight piece of news, but we actually have a little bit of a different format. We've a little bit behind on the news, but there's also not a whole lot really going on. But we've also seen a lot. So we're going to kind of do a bit of a showcase roundup. So we're going to get to that. But today's burning question is, what game were you guys most disappointed about that was canceled? I'm going to actually start with Irish Bandit tonight.
Man, start with the one who doesn't have anything, why don't you?
I had to throw you out under the bus.
I mean, the only one that really comes to mind was that Transformers game we saw at the Game Awards a couple years ago. Because, I thought it was something different, and then it was actually Ryder who was like, oh my god, is that Bumblebee? It's like, okay, this is going to be awesome. And now it's no longer there. My only issue with it was the really odd cover of Wanted Dead or Alive, but I'm that kind of sad that game went away because I am a big Transformers fan. Like I got a Optimus Prime on my desk here, so
I mean, that's the stuff we grew up with.
Yeah. It was nostalgia for me, but yeah, that's the only one that I can really think of that I'm disappointed was canceled. Anything else was like, okay.
All right, well, Ryder Pride, how about yourself?
I'm kind of in that same boat. There wasn't really a whole lot on the canceled list. I was like, I could live without it. But I'd say the one I was disappointed out was canceled probably close to 12. I think we're coming up on 12 years now that it was canceled. That was Star Wars 1313. This one was canceled way back in like 2013. There has been some rumblings that another publisher may potentially pick up the project again, but I figure after 12 years of it being in the canceled pile, I don't think this one's ever coming back to life. I mean, if it does, I have a feeling it would probably join the same dev hell that the KOTOR remake is currently in, which is, not officially canceled, although at this stage we could probably pretty much assume it's been canceled. But
just put that on the pile of good, beyond good and evil too. Just put it on that pile.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Poor monster. Oh man,
I could just hear him in the comments. We can't have anything good. Maverick gets 300 Assassin's Creeds, but I can't even get beyond
Phil Spencer Jr. now.
Right.
But that's a very important distinction to make here.
Yes, I apologize for that there, Phil Jr. Yeah. So the one that really jumps out in my mind, and I'm going to give a little bit of the one piece of news built into this, but I want to talk about my game that I was actually really excited for. I don't even remember when it was canceled. I just remember hearing about it. Was StarCraft Ghosts, the one that was based off of Kerrigan. And you were supposed to play as Kerrigan as it was supposed to be a third-party shooter. And it was before she became a part of what was it, that one creature? I can't remember the name of them. I wanted to say
the Queen of Blades.
Yeah, before she became the Queen of Blades. I was really excited for that game. I thought this thing's going to be awesome. And I if I remember, that's the first game that I can recall that was actually canceled. And when I started following video games in general. So what really sparked this decision, or to have this conversation, was because WB has, and this is the piece of news that I wanted to go over today.
Quick transition.
WB canceling Wonder Woman. Now, and they are closing 3 more development studios attached to WB. One of them is going to be the developer known as Monolith, which It sucks. I am a huge fan of Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. I thought those games were great, but it sounds like the problem was lying with the Nemesis system. Now, if I don't know if either of you gentlemen are familiar with it, I think I had a little bit of a conversation with Irish Bandit here before we started recording.
Yeah, he was filling in a little bit on it.
Yeah, so the Nemesis system basically that was the way that you interacted with the orcs. So if you'd fight an orc and it would kill you, they would get promoted, or you create a rivalry with this system, and it completely changed the game for how everyone played it. My experience would be different compared to what Irish Bandits would be, or for you, Ryder, it'd be a completely different game, and it's a very very solid system, but there is a licensing agreement that Monolith has on it until 2036. So no other developer can use it until then, which is such a shame because that is one of the few things that WB actually could bring to the table that could revolutionize gaming. And no one's going to have access to it for another 11 years.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think that this is failing was because the Nemesis system that Wonder Woman had in mind for wasn't going to be for enemies, but to build friendships. You're going to have friendship building basically with this Nemesis system. And I don't know, I think the part of the problem was that they had no idea how to implement it, is the way that I had taken it. So I'm disappointed that it's not going to happen, but this also does open the door for Rocksteady to come out and maybe try to get some stuff done right with a Batman game, rather than shoving Suicide Squad down our throats and hoping that that sticks with another live service game. So they're moving towards Batman. I've been hearing rumors that it might be Batman Beyond, but nothing has been confirmed yet. And it is going to be based in the Arkham universe. So bring that on. But it's a shame about Wonder Woman. I was very excited for it. And I remember seeing the announcement trailer. I think when the PlayStation 5 was announced, it was kind of around that time frame. But it's a shame. But I wanted to see, now that I've kind of filled you guys in a little bit about it, Ryder, you almost look like you want to add something to that.
I don't really have to add much to it. It sucks that 3 more studios are getting closed. We're back in this whole cycle again of studios closing, people getting laid off. But WB has had a very, very bad habit lately, with a couple of exceptions, of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Or in a lot of cases, they don't even bother with the step forward. They just go 2 steps back.
Right.
I mean, there's been some rumors floating around that they wanted to try their hand at a game to compete with Marvel Rivals and do something similar, where it was going to be a third-person hero shooter. And a lot of people are kind of turning their noses up at it for good reason, because we saw what happened with Multiversus. That game got revived twice and still failed on both occasions. So they completely mishandled that one, which is really unfortunate, because the cast of characters is something that a lot of people would have been able to get behind. Because, I mean, where else are you going to find Bugs Bunny and Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, going
Superman.
one-on-one?
Anything with Superman, give me. I will get on that bandwagon. Give me a Superman game. I want Superman in a game, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah,
I mean, that's. But yeah, like I said, yeah. So I mean, WB has had a lot of missteps lately when it comes to games. Obviously, like I said, there were a couple exceptions. The Batman Arkham series has been very, very well received.
Hogwarts Legacy, actually, very well received.
I mean, even in the political climate that it was in, it still sold pretty well. So,
because there are people that didn't care about that political aspect, right? Like how many times would you have a chance to go and explore Hogwarts, right? Like we're not going to get into the political aspect of it. I understand, I get it.
Yeah,
but amazing game.
But yes, but going by the numbers and whatnot, the Hogwarts Legacy still sold really, really well. Like I said, the Arkham series sold really, really well. I don't recall what other games they've made recently. I'd have to look them up, but the amount of recent hits outside of Hogwarts Legacy has been pretty few and far between. So, and like I said, with Multiversus doing as bad as it did twice, I think the one thing that they're still banking on is DCUO, the DC Universe Online. Still has active players for it, and they're still technically making money. Because if I recall correctly, DCUO is free to play, but there are
Mhm.
microtransactions obviously in the game that you could use for various character skins and power ups and things like that. It's not exactly pay to win. It's towing that line very very closely though. But yeah, that's my thoughts on sorry on the WB.
No, and I think that totally makes sense. I mean, I don't, and outside of Hogwarts and Suicide Squad in the last few years, I don't know of anything else that's really come out. Irish, you had anything to add to that one, or?
Just to echo what Ryder said, saying that it sucks we're seeing 3 more studios close, but hopefully, everyone who got let go lands on their feet and finds somewhere else. But I was also thinking there, could you imagine that Nemesis system in like an RPG?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty cool.
But of course, WB is going to hold on to that
Oh, of
that
course.
license as long as possible, right? And as I said, I think that's the one thing that they could bring to the table that would revolutionize games as we know it now. Um, but maybe a company will come in, replicate it, call it something completely different, and get away with it.
That's
So
pretty much going to be the only way it's going to happen. Is someone's basically going to have to see what it is, reverse engineer it, rebuild it, and tweak it so that way it's still a little bit different. It's like, let
yeah,
me copy your homework. Okay, just change up a couple of the answers so it doesn't look the same type of thing.
Yep.
exactly. Yeah. All right. So that being said, let's get into the meat of our podcast tonight. So we're just going to go right into the games. So we watched the Xbox showcase. I wasn't around for the PlayStation State of Play. I did have a chance, of course, to sit down and watch it. You guys heard me commenting quite a bit as well. Like, oh yeah, this game. And I was basically keyboard warrior during the your guys' broadcast. But I was very excited for some of it. So we're gonna go by order of release for what's coming out. So as of this recording, this game isn't out yet. This is not a game that I'm overly excited for. It's a one that I've always kind of wanted to get into. But we've had this one shoved down our throats a couple times with the video game awards, with the showcases, with Xbox developer direct in some cases. It's been everywhere. Is Monster Hunter Wilds, and it's going to be out 2 days out 2 days from now as of this recording. Visually stunning, I think. But it's just not going to be up my alley. I did try playing the last one myself, but I just couldn't get into it. Is this one that you guys it was on your radar for any of you guys at all?
Not really, no.
No, not at all. I tried the free to play knockoff version Dauntless when it first came around, and yeah, that one didn't last too long for me. I thought it was fun for about the first hour, and then realizing that I literally have to do the same fights over and over and over again to get
Yeah.
enough
Oh,
parts
competitive.
to make the gear that I need in order to take on the next fight, and then repeat that whole process again. Really,
Yeah.
unfortunately, just turned me off. But that being said, I mean, I know there's still a lot of people out there that absolutely love the Monster Hunter franchise. So they're going to be eating good for this one, I feel.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I hard to argue with that one. So the first one that's on my list, I know Ryder's keeping an eye on this one as well, and this is going to be his intro, I believe, into the Assassin's Creed universe. But we've got Assassin's Creed Shadows. I know that there's some people out there that are concerned with the writers coming out saying like, yeah, we were involved, and they were the same writers as like the Dragon Age Veilguard. I will say Veilguard gameplay was I had a blast with it. That's where that game really shone or shone, and the storyline wasn't great. The script could have been better, and I felt like they were just shoving dialogue down our throat the whole time, and they didn't really have a whole lot really uh, to go off of. Um, the one thing that I'm excited that we're finally going to be able to explore Japan in this game. And I know that Ryder, this is one of the reasons why you're most excited for it, right?
Yeah.
the aspect of it that I'm a little concerned about is the direction that they've gone with present day. For most of us have played Assassin's Creed, you realize like, oh, you're playing as a character that's put into an animus that's reliving your ancestors' lives, basically. And they haven't really had a solid character since, in my opinion, since they killed Desmond off in Assassin's Creed Revelations. And I would love to see them establish a character like that all over again with Desmond, um, or a character kind of like him, um, and them leaning into the character that they are now. I don't know is going to land, and I'm a little worried about that. Um, I know that you guys haven't had that experience yet. I don't want to talk too much about that part, but um, not being involved in the series, that's the one part that I think a lot of people are going to be worried about. I think that this series is due for reboot with a new character, even if they just do world building with a new character. But the from what I've heard, the samurai character, I'm sure one of you guys can pronounce it properly. What
Holy
was his
Rider.
name?
Yasuke.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
Sure, we'll edit that at that part out, but um, you don't
No,
need to
leave it
play
in.
as him. Yeah, leave it in. We're not going to be like, you're not forced to play as him, and he's not necessarily a assassin, which means that he's not going to have any abilities tied to the assassins. So for me, I'm going to be more involved with playing as the shinobi. I want to sneak around. I want to assassinate people. The changing environment is really interesting to me. That you're kind of have to be a little bit more methodical of going into certain areas in the winter because there's no cover and that type of thing. Um, so, Ryder, other than the Japan setting, was there just anything else that really jumped out at you that kind of grabbed your attention on this one?
Not particularly. I think the only reason why I expressed interest into it is because of the samurai culture. Um, Having the shinobi, I think, is actually just a bit more of a little bit of icing on the cake, really. Um, like I say, I mean, like based on my tattoos that I have on my arms and the ones I have on my shoulders. I mean, obviously, like I said, I've got a very very deep seated interest for it. But I figured this would probably be a good time to kind of introduce myself to the Assassin's Creed universe. I did play. I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been Odyssey. It was one. I picked it up for free, and I think I played it for like an hour, and I don't know, it really didn't hold my interest. So I'm still a little worried that this one may potentially do the same. Um, but obviously we'll just kind of see what happens. I do plan on playing it kind of on Ubisoft Plus, um,
Right.
rather than paying the full price for the game. So I'll probably play it on PC rather than PlayStation. So we'll see. That's the other thing I'm also gonna have to worry about too, is whether or not my PC can handle it, because it is starting to show its age a little bit.
I think you'll be fine with it considering the setting because you've got such a respect for that time frame in that part of the world. But I mean, of course, I'm going to say this: like, if you guys if you had any questions about the actual universe, of course, I've followed as much as I have. Just let me know. I'll be more than happy to go over it. I can talk Assassin's Creed for hours on end. Because it's just a universe that I really enjoy. Just the idea of, just a quick summary, there being a precursor race and them having forms of control and taking away people's free wills, and then the assassins trying to protect people's free wills. That's the part that I really enjoy. And I find it be interesting. But and Rob, I know you have a little bit of interest in that culture as well, but I know
Oh yeah.
that's it's not really a game that's really piqued your interest really much at this point, though, either, right?
Well, I've never played a Assassin's Creed game at all, so I really have no dog in the fight. But with the Japanese setting, it would be one I would definitely look into.
And I think that's what people like. They're almost needing is a setting that people have been asking for.
Mhm.
I can't wait to see if they actually go through with the Salem witch trials one that
that'd be
they were
another one
kind of
that I would
hinting
look
at.
into too.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll move away from Assassin's Creed. As I said, I could talk about Assassin's Creed for hours. And I know that this is probably another one that's really piqued my interest, and it came up with the Xbox Developer Showcase, which is South of Midnight. This one I kind of
That
got
looks
my
interesting.
attention a little while ago. So for those playing the home game, I've got about six or seven on this list that I'm going to be playing through. So I'm going to actually be streaming at the points that I'm at on the weekends or during my time off. I won't be doing one exclusive playthrough all the way through. Basically, wherever I am, that's what I'm playing. But South of Midnight and Assassin's Creed are both going to be up first. But yeah, the art style on that one looks really interesting to me. I think, Rob, you were kind of going to say something about that one.
Oh, I was just saying that one looks really interesting.
The stop art, like
Mhm.
it kind of looks like claymation almost, looks really
Yes.
interesting. Um, and just that deep seated heritage of like the southern, like Louisiana
Louisiana.
area, right? Like even the creatures that they were coming up across, the crocodiles and a little bit more reptiles and that type of thing. Any things that really reside in that area. I'm excited for this one. Even when we didn't really know what it was.
Mhm.
Thought that is going to be on my watch list. But of course, it's going to be going on Game Pass. And since Phil Spencer Jr. is not here, where do we get Game Pass, guys?
You can get it at
www.xbox.ca.
xbox.com.
Yeah. So we won't go and dive into that one too much. I'm very, very excited. I will stream, as I said, I'll probably stream a little bit with that one. The next one I'm going to let Ryder talk about because I know this one's been on his radar the moment that it was announced, which is Lunar Remastered Collection. So I'm just going to add it
Yes.
to that's expected April 18th.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on the PlayStations, Xbox, all the Xboxes, Switch, and PC April 18th.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
This one, a lot of people should be excited about. I played this one back on PlayStation when it originally came out. Pretty sure that's when it originally came out.
I think so.
The original story was fantastic. Now I didn't play any of the other Lunar games, unfortunately. But the original one I don't quite remember exactly how the story all went out, but I remember that game being super, super fun. I played it all the way through, right to the very end, beat the game, and it just had an absolute blast with it. I remember the story being really good. The combat system, the movement was really, really good too. I think that was one of the most fluid games I'd ever played. Back in PlayStation days, and I played Final Fantasy VII for crying out loud, and this one here was right up there. I mean, that being said, I've also been going like super, super hard on RPGs. Between God of War, Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, I've been playing Octopath Traveler off stream. There's going to be more that are going to be coming up here. Lunar is going to be one of them, and I'm hopefully going to be able to stream that one for everybody over on my Twitch channel too. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for Lunar. I'm excited to see what other things come with it because they did say it was a collection. So I'd like to see what's
I'll
all
double
coming
check
in
that
it.
while you're kind of vamping about that one. But
Well, I'll pass it over to Rob in case he's got anything to add while he's looking while Mav is looking there.
yeah,
I don't really have anything new to add to that one. Wish I would have played it when it was out on PlayStation, but it's one I'll give a shot to.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, it
I'm a
is
big
coming out on
RPG
PC,
guy,
so
yeah, and I don't think it's going to be overly taxing on hardware at least, anyways, considering it's going to be on all generations as well,
Right.
right? So, yeah, I can't really see what is included with that for what games. Hold on. Upcoming playing game. So it comes with Lunar Silver City Story Complete and Lunar 2.
okay.
Internal Blue Complete. So it's coming with the two games. So that's where it's saying it's a remastered or a collection.
Okay.
But I'm excited for you guys to jump back into that one. I have a hard time getting into those games, but into the turn based. But now that I've had a little bit more encounter with games like Metaphor, it might be something that I kind of keep my eyes on. But it's going to go on my very, very long backlist. Right, but
you gotta remember, all these games like Lunar Remastered, these games could walk, so Metaphor could run.
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. So the next one as well is going to be another action turn-based game. This is actually one of my most anticipated games of the year as of right
Same.
now, which is Clear Obscure Expedition 33. You know what, Irish, we haven't heard a ton from you. Please go ahead.
Well, just looking at the art style of this game, it looks amazing. And then you add the cast to it as well. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
friggin' Ben Starr, the most interesting man alive, if you ask me right now. Funniest dude, too. Oh my God.
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, yeah, dude who played Gollum. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is one I'm really, really looking forward to. I can't wait to see it in action, see how it plays, and just the story behind it too. Like, a big monster comes out, draws a number on something or other. Uh, if
Like a
you're that
mountainside
age,
type
you
of thing.
die. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're that age, you have to die. It's like, yeah, that's pretty intense.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I agree.
it's my most anticipated game of the year. I as I said, I've just kind of started tipping my toes in into turn based, and there being still like a parry system, and there being almost like an action based system as well for it on top of it. I'm very excited for it. Which it's also going to be going on Game Pass day one for those with Xbox subscription. Um,
Xbox.com.
yeah. So, but that is one that I am very excited to get my hands on, and I am hoping that I can be done Assassin's Creed and South of Midnight by that time. So going to be kind of pushing that here. As I said, my list is there. There's a lot coming in the next little while after that, but yeah, I know, Ryder. You said that you were kind of looking forward to that one though too,
Yeah, this
right?
one, like, after seeing a bit of the gameplay, and much to echo, echo Irish Bandit Rob's point about the voice cast. I mean, if you have Ben Starr and Andy Serkis in the same cast, obviously you're doing something right.
Yep.
So, and again, it's another RPG. So I mean, obviously, that immediately piques my interest. And yeah, from what we saw at the developer direct, and a little bit at the state of play as well, I think. Was that the state of play?
No, it was not at the state of
No,
play.
okay.
No.
there was two places where we saw it, but anyways, from what I saw in
Maybe the
both
Game Awards?
places, might have been the
Yeah, it
Game
was a
Awards.
Video Game
Yeah,
Awards.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably what it was. But from what I saw of the game, it looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic. I'm definitely putting this one on near the top of my watch list. Just be the reason why I'm not necessarily going to be jumping at the opportunity to play it right away is because I'm kind of in the same boat as Mav. I've got a list of games to play and try and complete before that comes out. I try to avoid getting too many games at once, except for ones that I plan on playing off stream. Like I've got like probably like 4 or 5 games on the go right now off stream, just so I have something to play. In my spare time, or especially when I'm working overnights.
Right.
So yeah, like this one is definitely going to be shortlisted on my games to play list. If I can find the time to get on it day one, I will. Just because this game definitely seems like it's right up my alley, and like I said, yeah, the voice cast looks amazing. It looks super good all the way around. So I'm really excited to see what this game can bring to the market.
Yeah, and this is also one of the reasons why for the next little while when I am streaming, it's going to be like, sorry guys, this is at the point I'm at. I really don't care to be doing a full gameplay of what I'm playing. I'm going to just power through because as of right now, we've covered for what I'm looking at doing Assassin's Creed, South of Midnight, uh, and Expedition 33, and there's still more on the list. And for me, the next one that's coming up on this list as well is another one that I'd like to play through from start to finish. It's going to be kind of pushed, I think, to near the end because this is a game that I have played before. I cannot talk this game up enough. I've brought it up on this podcast before. I love this game to death, and I'm excited for them. It is Days Gone Remastered, and that is being released April 25th. If you have the original copy, it's a $15 upgrade in Canada for that upgrade. So that, of course, gives you enhanced graphics, adaptive triggers, and also haptic feedback. But the reason why I'm excited about this is because Ben Studio also recently announced that they have canceled their uh, their recent project. And they have another live service game that they have canceled, and Sony has shelved Days Gone and or Days Gone 2, pardon me. And now that this game's coming out, I'm kind of hoping that people pick up the upgrade or pick up the game, because it may signal Sony, hey, we want a sequel. We want you guys to develop this. And we've said it on this podcast. One of our biggest slogans is let it cook. They didn't have a chance to cook a sequel. They got nothing. Um, there are a few different things that are implemented on this. There's a new horde mode, a new a deathless mode, and they've also increased the amount of zombies that you're going to have in the hordes as well.
Ooh,
And
fun
it was
times.
already overloaded with how many that they had. I think the biggest horde was 750, and they're going to be adding on to that. So bring it on. I am here for it. I cannot wait to play it. Ryder, I think I challenged you to give that one a try this year as well. At least
I think
not
you did.
the PlayStation 5 version, but
Yeah.
the PS4
The
version.
the PS4 version is still available on PlayStation Plus, and I've been kind of eyeballing it, and it's one, again, same thing. It's it's on the playlist. Whether I get to it is a whole other question.
Right, so it was included with the PlayStation Plus collection. So if you
Right, yeah.
claimed it when you bought the system, but now that's gone. It's not on that list anymore. So for anyone that's typing up to see if they can grab it, unfortunately, it's not there. You'll have to pay for it. Worth every cent. It had an abysmal launch though. I got it at launch and this is garbage. I went and I traded it back in. Went back in 6 months later, and I have the habit of falling in love with games after replaying it 6 months afterwards. And this went right to the top of one of my favorite games. So when I saw that it was announced, I got actively excited because I want to go back into that world, and I really want this game to do well. Um, and for those that have the PlayStation Plus collection that are thinking about buying the upgrade, it is not, you cannot get the upgrade for the PlayStation 4 collection version. You will have to buy the actual game. So you can't just buy the upgrade. You have to actually buy the full game. Just a heads up on that one. Rob, anything to add on that one? I know that you probably seen a little bit about it though too with the state of play 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw a little bit about it. Didn't play the original, but I mean, with the remaster coming out, good time to get into it if you've never played it before. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah. And it is on PC as well. So
Mhm.
I mean it is available on other systems than just PlayStation. So but yeah, that one is another one that I will add to my list of games that I will be streaming or playing through. But as I said, as I've played it before, it's going to be probably bumped to when I have time. So that being said, we're going to move on to the next one. I don't have a whole lot to really add to this one. I got a feeling Irish Bandit might have something to say about it because you kind of enjoy that dark, mysterious world, but the Midnight Walk
Yeah,
that
this
they
one.
kind of highlighted in the state of play.
Yeah, that one looks really, really out there. I kind of like that stuff because I'm a big horror guy myself. Love horror movies, so definitely one that I would definitely have a look at myself.
It kind of looked like a Tim Burton movie,
Yeah,
right?
it did.
Like,
It really did. Has that creepy atmosphere to it. So,
Kind of like
uh,
Inky and the Bendy and the Ink Machine. Sorry, Inky. Jesus.
yeah,
yeah,
Sorry, that's a Pac-Man
Ink-
ghost. What am I talking about?
yeah. I was
Yeah,
just gonna
Bendy
say
and the Ink
Inky,
Machine.
Blinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
um,
Bendy and the Ink Machine meets Tim Burton. So I'm down.
excuse me. Um, Me, not so much. I've never been much of a horror guy. If anything, a horror comes across my table, I'll usually just pass that over to Rob.
Fair
Well,
There you
I
go.
mean, you can start passing some of that stuff over to me. I've kind of started getting into that a little bit. Silent Hill 2 recently, the Resident Evil series I've started getting into. Though I will say Village isn't scary, it's creepy. And
It's
so I
twisted.
mean, yeah, it's very twisted.
That
And
also has Lady D, so.
well, and it's been out long enough. Taz, my other half, she'll walk around the house once in a while, just creep me out, go like acting as a baby basically, because there's a giant baby monster that will eat you whole in the game, and it walks around basically calling mama the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Wonderful.
you can't fight it. You have to run from it and hide from it. So it is one of the creepiest parts in the game, and she has no problem creeping me out with that. So a little fun story there. Um, so another game that was talked about during the developer direct. I know we are all excited for this one, and this is probably the reason why Days Gone is going to get delayed. I will stream this one. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it day one, but Doom: The Dark Ages.
Rip
I
and
mean,
tear until it is done.
Yep.
yeah,
Tear in the Dark Ages.
I'm very excited for this one. I am going to get early access. I've covered the DLC, which you can do with Game Pass because it is going to Game Pass day one. What you can do is you can just buy the expansion without buying the game. So for those that have
Oh,
Game
neat.
Pass, you can just get away with getting the upgrade. Not that I'm saying that you have to by any means, but
We'd never do
this
that.
is a beloved franchise, right? Like I think we're all excited for this one.
Oh, yeah.
Man, the original. I was there, man.
Mhm.
That's just a long-winded way of saying I'm old.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I mean, if the gray's here and the gray's here, and we're plainly obvious.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of the Doom franchise. Still need to play the 2016 Doom. Every time it pops up for sale for like $5, I have no money. But one of these days when it goes on sale, I'm gonna get it. But yeah,
It's worth playing. It's
like I mean,
phenomenal.
over Steam and Epic, I have Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64. You can tell I
Oh
like the
yeah.
franchise. So I'm
Yeah,
really, really looking forward to the Dark Ages. Just being able to play Doomslayer in that time frame. Come on.
Oh
How
yeah.
can you
yeah.
not how can you
I
not
mean,
get a little excited
chainsaw
over it?
shield.
Exactly.
You had me at chainsaw shield.
Exactly.
Being Captain America above Doom guy, that's going to be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun.
Oh yeah, I think yeah we're all excited for that one. So that will be see as I said these are all the games on my list so far. This is another one that's going on the list that I'm going to be playing as soon as I can. That will be streamed. But again, and as I said, like I'll go through the list here, but there's just so much. Um, the other thing that came up here, the next one that was on the list that came up on the state of play, I was this was supposed to be out last year. Never had been officially announced that it was coming out for sure last year. Um, but I was sitting around waiting. Okay, where's that release date, guys? Where is it? We're of course talking about Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. I am super excited that this has finally got a release date. So it is going to be going on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC August 28th. So bring this one on. I am very excited to be able to get into this. This is a franchise I've always been interested in, but I could never get into 1 and 2 with just the way the controls were in the layout. Um, so being able to and it's a franchise I've always been interested in, but I always kind of felt weird getting into it later on and not understanding this stuff prior. So now that this is kind of a prequel, might pique my interest a little bit. I know that Phil Spencer Jr. was excited for this one as well. Me and him had talked about it a fair bit. Um, but I wanted to hear your guys' take on this one. Is this going to be one that's interested you guys at all?
Possibly, I will see. After the original Metal Gear Solid, I didn't really hold my interest for the rest of it. So I don't know if this one will sway my interest, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it though for sure.
Keep in mind, it is a prequel. That's the thing that's interesting me. So, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater is a prequel before Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. And that's the only reason why I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good point to jump into. But I mean, we're also in the world of remakes and remastered, so I'm sure 1 and 2 is not going to be far behind it to be remade.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Myself, I've never been a stealth guy. Like when they say stealth is an option in a game, I'm that Beaker meme with Beaker with a chainsaw. So
Wasn't it
it
Bad
looks.
Company too, where Bad Company back in the day where it was like, oh, stealth is an option and your characters have like big like Gatling guns and stuff and like just blow shit up instead of going in all quiet like.
I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
I mean
But
I think I remember which missions those were too, and yeah, there was. I'm basically in that particular case. Yeah, stealth was never an option.
I mean, it looks fantastic. Story should be something good if if it's in the Metal Gear Solid universe. So I don't know. It might be one worth checking out.
So we'll move on. We've only got a couple here left. So there's two more that actually have release dates, and I know one of them you guys are both very excited for. But I'm going to talk about the one that came up and was given a release date during the state of play, which is Hell Is Us. This one just looks like a creepy, fun hack and slash.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to that, give me. I can't wait to get my hands on that one.
Yeah, I think Chewy was excited about that one too, if I remember
I think so.
correctly.
Yeah, I mean, just the new IPs need to be highlighted a little bit more. There isn't a ton
Absolutely.
of them. I I wanted to disagree with them that we're in the worst generation out there for games, and because it's like there's so many games that I've enjoyed, but looking back, he's absolutely right. It's remakes and remasters all over the place. So when an original idea comes through, it's like this is something that we should almost be celebrating.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
which is kind of a shame we're in that generation right now. But this is a new IP that I'm very excited for. I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. And just the premise of it looks so interesting. Such an interesting world.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to hand over the reins to you guys for this next one a little bit
And
here.
Motor Rider for this one.
Yeah, Borderlands 4. Okay, I've said enough. I'm gonna.
All right, good night, guys.
Sit back. Yeah, sit back and let Ryder go ahead with this one.
Yeah. Oh man, what can I say about the Borderlands? Actually, Rob, do you want to chime in for anything here before I get
Nope, you go for it.
go off the rails?
It's all you. It's all you.
All right, well, let's stretch around here. Okay. Anyways, no, I'm super excited for Borderlands 4. I know the last couple of titles really kind of missed the mark. So Borderlands 4 it almost needs to succeed at this stage. If it doesn't succeed after this, that franchise might be in trouble. Borderlands 1 and 2 were fantastic. 1 was really good. 2 was a great game. Like, we're not talking a good game. It was a great game. They tried a little too hard to kind of replicate that magic with 3. And particularly the antagonists, I think, is where they really missed the mark. They tried to make it more. They tried to appeal to a lot of people on social media influence, I think, is where they went for it. That's basically what the antagonists were all about, is that they're basically portraying their evil doings on social media to gain followers on Pandora or whatever planet it was that they were on at the time. So that one, the gameplay was still really good. The story missed the mark heavily. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands came out and kind of changed how the game, like basically how the Borderlands franchise looked and played. And again, it's kind of the same thing. The story was actually pretty decent, especially considering that the antagonist was voiced by Will Arnett, and I absolutely love Will Arnett as a comedian and an actor. So he played a fantastic role in that game. It was super super good. The gameplay, like the gunplay, was still the gunplay. It's Borderlands gunplay. You really can't change the formula for that because it's so easy to replicate and it's super fun to begin with. But the rest of the gameplay, all the stuff that they added onto it to make it feel more like an RPG, as opposed to the classic Borderlands RPG style that they already had, really again kind of missed the mark. So with Borderlands 4, they can step away from the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. They're not going to try and replicate that. That much we know. But the gameplay itself is probably going to be very very similar to what we've seen in the past with the guns. The story is where they need to succeed. So they have another opportunity to do so. But if they miss here, this probably spells the end for the Borderlands franchise. Because the last two didn't do so good. And a third, yeah, this is basically, oh, great, this is your third strike. Swing or miss. That's pretty much what it's going to boil down to.
Oh boy. So there's a lot riding on that game. I mean, it's still a franchise that I haven't tried yet. Which, I mean, shocker for a lot of this, right? So
if you ever get into it, start from the very beginning, because the stories all, like, especially for 1, 2, and 3, they all kind of intertwine with each other very very well. Just be forewarned, if you do get to it and you do get to 3, just be ready to swallow that pill. It's a bit of a rough one.
Maybe
well,
that's
I
my problem,
believe
'cause I've
that
only
they
played
came.
Borderlands 3.
Yeah, I think that they had them on PlayStation Plus a few years ago, so I actually do have access to them. So I mean, I have some time to kill right now. I'm jumping around, testing the water on a few of my backlog games, and I just haven't found a game to really scratch that itch yet. So I don't know. I am trying with Tales of Arise right now, and so far I've began to kind of start feeling like this could be the game that could keep me entertained for a couple weeks. So we'll see. But sorry, Arish, you wanted to add something there?
Oh no, I was just saying that maybe that's my problem because I only started with Borderlands 3.
Yeah, it definitely could be by the sounds of things. Um, so this was the next game that came up here. This was one that I was not expecting to come out. This is one that really grabbed my interest, and this was probably one of my highlights for the state of play. And I kind of got a little bit of a Stellar Blade feel to this one, which is Tides of Annihilation. This game looks so interesting. Um, and no release date has been set for this one yet. I have seen a 11 to 12 minute um, gameplay demo that they released last week, and I gotta say, like, it's looking pretty polished. I would be shocked if this one does not come out this year. But I'm in for it. Give me that game as soon as, like, I'm very excited for it. Um, Stellar Blade, I know Ryder tried the demo, didn't really do much for him. I fell in love with that game, and it's got me interested in more games like this. I do still need to finish a near at some point as well, but I kind of got that feeling from this game, and it just looks so beautiful as well on top of it. But yeah, it's another game that I'm very excited for this year. I was wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on that one though, of course, as well. Did anything stick out for you on that one there, Ryder?
Nothing for me really. Doesn't look like it's gonna be one that's gonna suit my style.
All right, Irish.
I've been hearing a lot
Anything?
about that lately, so it's gonna be one that I'm gonna have to keep my eye on. But I'm thinking if they released that video last week, maybe you could be looking at a demo sometime soon to be released.
That would be nice. That would be great. I'm going to speculate that we're looking at probably a summer release on that one. Of course, you know, at this point, you know, I don't see a heck of a lot out for June or July as of yet. but those are kind of the slower times of the year anyways, right? So last but not least, this is a series that I haven't really had an opportunity to get into much myself. I dabbled in the one that they shadow dropped during the Xbox Direct, which is Ninja Gaiden 4. I know that Ryder, you said that you had played that one though before, right?
Oh,
Or
the
that
original,
series?
the original back on like TurboGrafx 16, and yeah, there's those grays again. Uh, yeah, I played the original game
Sorry.
way, way back in the day. Um, I don't remember if I had a lot of fun with that one or not. I remember that game being incredibly difficult. I think it still stands as one of the top most difficult games
Yeah, I think so.
on the old consoles. You know, right up there with like ET and SNES's Lion King.
Oh God.
So I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, this is going to be another one of those games that I know what the franchise is. I think the only thing I've really enjoyed from it lately is watching speedrunners take it on. But the
Okay.
speedrunning community is already so fun to watch, you know, regardless of what game they play. But seeing the Ninja Gaiden ones, especially the original, where you know there a lot of people are trying to perfect the hitless run, which up until somewhat recently was actually impossible to do because there was one particular phase of the final boss that you had to take a hit in order to hit it back. But now some people have actually figured out how to get around that. So, anyways, I digress. Yeah, I don't think Ninja Gaiden 4 will be on my list to play. Same with what was it that they shadow dropped? Was it Black Ninja Gaiden 2 Black or Black 2?
Yeah,
Two
something
Black.
like that.
Yeah.
2 Black, yeah.
Yeah. I did dabble in it a little bit. But I ended up feeling that pull to Hogwarts Legacy. So that kind of took a backseat. So but with what I played, it was a lot of fun. It might be one that I should probably look at revisiting while I've got some time to kill. Um, how Irish? Did you have any experience with that one back in the day?
Not really, no. It was just amazing to see like this old franchise get resurrected again.
See, and those are the types of games. Like that's the thing. Like as if I've mentioned that we're in the world of remakes and remasters, and it like I do stand by that. It is kind of a sad part of of history that we're in when it comes to gaming. But I'm guilty for it still as well to buy those
Mhm.
remasters and those remakes. Um,
Absolutely.
and most of the time it's that $10 or $15 upgrade in my mind is like, you know what, not only do I get that upgrade, I get the the quality of life improvements, but I also get to go back and platinum one of my favorite games again. And that's the thing that kind of gets my interest again as well, because like for sure I'm going back in for that platinum for Days Gone. It's not even a question. Um, but it, you know it'd just be nice to have a few more original games. This one is another sequel, but it's one from a franchise that we've almost forgotten about. So I think this one kind of almost gets more of a pass for that, because I know that there's going to be quite a bit of hype on that. So
Yeah. Hopefully that means, you know, if Ninja Gaiden's coming out, hopefully that means there's going to be a new Mega Man.
Let's
yeah,
see. Let's hope.
Capcom, let's
and
talk.
yeah, and I mean there was references to Omnimusha as well, and I mean that's another one, but that's coming out, but it's not slated until next year, so it's not even really worth talking about. But that is one game that I'm very excited for. That trailer looked fantastic and looked
Mhm.
hilarious. At point like, oh, bring on all your enemies. Yeah. Oh, too many, and it runs away. Like
Yeah.
I laughed my head off when I seen that. But gentlemen, I think this is going to be the perfect spot to start calling it. So we're going to say this, Irish. Where can we find you these days?
Oh, where can't you find me? That's a question. You can find me on YouTube, where I post every Monday and Friday. I am about to start a new mod over on Mod Mondays, new Doki Doki Literature Club mod. I'm still playing Final Fantasy VII Original on my YouTube channel on Fridays, getting to the part of the game that I hate. And you can also catch me on Twitch, where I stream Thursdays and Fridays from 1 till 4. Have to remember my own schedule. And Saturday and Sunday morning, 9 till 11:30 a.m. Where right now I am playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. You think I like Final Fantasy VII or something?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
not at all.
yeah.
No.
Who'd have thought, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you can also pick up a copy of my novel Shade Falling over on Amazon. You can pick that up on either Kindle e-reader or on paperback.
All right, Ryder, how about you? Where can we find you? What do you have
And
going on these days?
well, you can still find me over on Twitch. I know I've been on a kind of bit of a hiatus last couple of weeks. Illness, work, travel, things like that. Life has kind of gotten in the way for a few things. But you can still find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/RedderPride639, where I am. I'm going to have probably one more weekend to try and play some more God of War Ragnarok, specifically. Hopefully try and wrap up as much as I can with that before there's a new game coming out this coming Tuesday on March 4th that I've been highlighting over on my YouTube channel. Shadowvale Legend of the Five Rings does drop on March 4th on Steam. So I'm going to be doing a lot of coverage and reviews for that one coming up. As well, you guys can actually find me over on TikTok now. I'm doing TikTok stuff. Who knew? It's not much at the moment, but I do have a TikTok channel that you guys can follow. All that stuff will be down below in the comment section with the link tree.
Same with mine.
Nice.
And Matt's too.
So for me, I've been on hiatus for streaming for the last little while. I'm going to be getting back into it. So as I've said before, I've been wanting to focus more on reviews. So I'm going to keep you guys up to speed on my Facebook page, which is the new Geek Corner. I am going to be having lots of movie reviews coming out this year. So it's going to be very, very, very busy when it comes to that as well. So I'm excited for a lot of the stuff that's going to be coming up. So I'm going to start kicking off my streaming here likely on March. I believe it's the 22nd is what I'll be probably looking at doing sometime during the day. So I'm going to be kicking off here where I am with Assassin's Creed Shadows. So within the next 3 months, you guys, I'm going to be aiming for and trying to complete reviews and streams for Assassin's Creed Shadows, South of Midnight, Expedition 33, Days of Gone Remastered, Doom: The Dark Ages as well at this point in time. So I've got quite a few games that are going to be coming out. Oh, and also there was one that we missed that's coming out May 30th as well that we forgot to highlight, which is Lost Souls Aside, which is another one that I'm going to be looking at streaming and playing as well. Yes, I'm kind of disappointed I missed that one because that would have been a good one to talk about as well. Because I know that you guys were, Ryder was talking about being interested in that too. But
No, that was Chewy. That was interested in that.
It was Chewy?
I wasn't interested in this one at all.
Oh no, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that one looks really cool. Devil May Cry cross with Final Fantasy, give me. But anyways, didn't make the list on here. So anyways, I will be looking at streaming that one too. I'll keep you guys posted on my Facebook page. Keep your eyes open for news and movie reviews on there as well. But anyways, we're going to sign off. I'm Agent Maverick 86. It's great to be back, gentlemen. Of course, we got Irish Bandit and Rider Pride. And again, see you on the next level. Bye, guys.
Take care, everyone.